Welcome back. Welcome back to the Negro Jump podcast. The podcast still known as the Negro Jump podcast. What will I change it to? I don't know. I thought I had a good name and I don't. But name will change because the podcast is different. Still the same, yeah, but it is different. It's just me. Started with 2. Now there's 1. At least for today. And since today is a solo episode, it's going to be a quick one, just a little rundown on some things that I watched and things that I read up on that I want to share with you guys. First and foremost, if you are not subscribed on whatever platform you're listening to this on, whether that be YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, and whatever other platforms that allow podcasts through the audio waves. Not on SoundCloud. I need to get back on SoundCloud. I'm pretty sure that's an easy fix. So we're going to be figuring that out. A good chunk of listeners started out on SoundCloud. Need to get back to SoundCloud. But without further ado, here is today's run of the show. One Piece. I caught up. Episodes 1156 through 1167. That is a mouthful to say, especially as someone like myself who has been watching this show since I was a young child or young adolescent. I think I was at least like 13, 12 going on 13, maybe 13, 14. But yeah, it's been a long ass time. So many voice actor changes. Crazy. So far, dealing with a lot of rewinding when it comes to watching the newest format of One Piece. The newest format being that we're not going to show you everything on screen at once. We're not going to lay it all out to you. Hence me saying, and this is a spoiler for if you're not caught up to Elbaf in any which way or form, whether that be anime or manga or you watching someone on YouTube tell you about Elbaf. Yes, you specifically. Shame on you. Read or to watch it. So what they have been doing, they've been doing it honestly since Egghead, where they're not, I can't say assuming, but they're not showing everything on screen. And Egghead specifically, when the satellites were getting taken out one by one, and they knew there was a traitor amongst them, it was towards like the middle of the conflict, the middle of the Egghead season. We just see the infiltrator Greed being captured and pinned down. She actually hurt some people, and we didn't see that. They just skipped right over it. Now, maybe that was just an anime thing. Maybe they showed that in the manga. But if memory serves me right, I think I read it right after I watched it, and so it was the same spiel. Or next example, fast forward to Elbaf, when Luffy meets with the giant Loki, to which Loki tells him he knows of Shanks and knows where he's at, and that gets Luffy's attention immediately. It gets his attention, so now he's willing to do almost anything to get the information, and Loki with a grin on his face says, "Why would I give that to you for free?" Episode over. We don't get a flashback until about 2 more episodes when Luffy's at a celebration amongst the giants that he's helped throughout his adventure, and someone mentions Loki and a key being at the castle. Somebody mentioned it, or he eventually ends up at a castle looking for a key to free Loki, to which Nami and Zoro join him to make sure that he doesn't do anything any more dangerous than freeing somebody that this entire island sees as a demon. So, pretty interesting. Also interesting about One Piece now in the Yonko phase of the Straw Hats adventures is that Luffy is meeting, or we're being introduced to multiple characters that have MC goals, main character goals, like Don Flamingo, even pre Yonko Luffy. Don Flamingo had like the big goals of being that guy, and he became that guy. Through all his adversity, he became that guy, and Luffy squashed him. And it's just been one after another. He's been meeting these people. Probably right after that, the biggest one was Kaido. He took Kaido down. Kaido planned on being king of the pirates and was even claimed to be Joy Boy, but we seen that wasn't real. But yeah, he's meeting a lot of side characters with main character goals. Another one being currently Loki. Loki, who wants to rule the world so he can then destroy it. Or even Harjunin, the giant that tried to compete for the Flare fruit and became a subordinate of the Straw Hat fleet. So he wants to be king of all giants. And he said that. So it's interesting. I like it. It'll be hysterical if his middle initial is also D, and to which people with the will of D just want to be kings of everything. So more Oda being Oda, just having so much there. It's going to be hilarious when he doesn't wrap up every little thing that you guys want to see. Now, speaking specifically to the manga fans, they're probably really, really satisfied now. I've successfully blocked so much from my feed from being spoiled by the manga people that can't keep the thoughts to themselves. But this is the age of the internet where it's content. Next up, today I watched episode 1 of Baki-Dou, the next series in the Baki franchise. Now, last series we watched him prepare to fight his dad, and he fought his dad. I don't remember offhand if he beat his dad. I don't think he did, but the street fight was pretty intense. And episode 1 starts off with a American UFC fighter, mixed martial arts fighter, champion at that, reigning champ for 7 years, bored of defending the belt, bored of just being the best, to which now his new goal is to not be the best, but to be the world's strongest. So where does he go? Japan. For all my Baki fans, you know this pretty much spells a recipe for disaster for the man, because people are not walking away the same after. They're not walking away the same after they go to Japan to, he says, to be the strongest, but ultimately you're going to experience defeat, just like those death row inmates in the remake. So he goes there. He gets with the promoter, the old man that knows all of the death match fighters in Japan. And even jokingly, he was like, "I'll fight Baki tonight." And he was just like, "He'll fight you tonight." He was like, "Well, no, I was just playing." He was like, "Nah, don't get scared now." So nervously, he's trying to backpedal, being like, "Well, it's pretty abrupt. I don't want to just spur it on him too soon, right?" He's like, "No, he ain't got nothing else to do. Now, before this, Baki was doing an unorthodox method of training, which was running down a flight of stairs. Not just any flight of stairs, but the specific stone stairs that are on the sides of hilltop and mountains in Japan. And decided to just run. And towards the end of these flight of stairs, he feels a yawn coming on, to which he shows he's getting bored now. And he shows this in the bout with the UFC fighter. Walks in nonchalant. His aura is presenting beast. Just monstrous. Like it's projecting monsters. And the UFC fighter is shook. So shook that it was barely even a fight. He went for a fake leg kick, then tried to follow up with a straight. Baki dodged it. Vice gripped his head with his bare fingers. Mind you, Baki is still an 18-year-old boy. And this is a full-grown man, heavyweight champion man from mixed martial arts. So what's my man? Yoel? The dude that can't move his neck. Somebody swole like him, but like the size of Rampage Jackson. Or the Muay Thai fighter in Tekken. It's like Fuku something. I'm butchering the name, but the guy that doesn't like he belongs in Tekken because he could beat anybody. That guy. That's what this guy looks like. And Baki with the vice grip still in his hand, just rattles his brain. Just violently shakes his brain, and the dude passes out. And he said the last thing he remembers before passing out was seeing Baki hold back the yawn that he had because he was so bored. Now, all of this is building up to the new challenge, to which the promoter of this fight was leading a top secret medical research project. This project was to clone a human. All the sources are there. They got the lead expert introduced the guy to the DNA he's going to be working with, the DNA being from the great Musashi, the great samurai Musashi. I think it was Yamamoto. So he is so excited to do that he was like, I'll do it for free. Fuck the money. So we're prepping for a showdown with now not a prehistoric man or his dad, but legendary samurai. So somebody else, a fighter based off of real lore. Fucking Baki, bro. Just when I thought they couldn't top themselves, and they did it again. So let me see. Yeah, it's called Baki-Dou, the Invincible Samurai. It's on Netflix. Let's see. Musashi. Okay, so this original manga run is from 2014 to 2023. Okay, Baki. Yeah, so Musashi Miyamoto. There we go. Musashi Miyamoto. Series about him coming back to life and then just wreaking havoc in Japan like it was the samurai days. So yeah, that was a pretty solid watch. I'm excited to watch the rest. Going to another anime, I watched Dorohedoro. This was a Netflix exclusive. It was a Netflix exclusive back in 2021. Now it is on Crunchyroll. Since it's on Crunchyroll, it'll probably be available on other streaming platforms sooner than we think. 5 whole years since season 1, Dorohedoro keeps up the theme of upbeat psychedelic horror anime. So what does that mean? That means that visually, it does not look like a lot of animes or animation projects or series that I have never seen before, and I'm pretty sure some people, a lot, maybe the majority anime fans are not watching that. So that's point number one. I'm gonna do a little point system with Dorohedoro and why I'm back, because I really don't remember anything from season 2. Like, I barely remember anything. I remember a lizard man trying to eat somebody, and then there was a person in his mouth. So it's a lot. There's a buff lady that beats people to death with her bare hands. This episode of season 1, she punches a dude's head clean off. Like, clean off his fucking body. But super gory, super bloody as hell. Deals with supernatural. They do it in their own way, to where the witches look like regular people, but they have like enhanced abilities, I guess, like quirks, and like their power comes from this black dust or smoke from their body. But yes, Dorohedoro season 2 came out earlier this year. I think I said it was like April. I thought it just came out. I mentioned on the last whole episode, I'm like, oh, that's going to be coming out soon, but I added to the list. It was already out, Jarrod. It was already out. That article you were reading was old. It was an old article. All right, that's enough of shows that I've watched. Let's go on to some news. Now, if you didn't know, Sakamoto Days, the manga, is coming to an end very, very soon. But please do not be sad. Do not be upset, because season 2 is now on Netflix right now. It is right now. And also, the end of the manga marks the return of the one and only Bleach. Bleach is coming back in manga form, I believe, if not by the end of this month, but by next month. Go along with 1,000 Year Blood War release, the movie Kolor coming out and being the series finale And if you're not going to watch the movie, if you can't catch it because it is in select theaters, like I'm going to have to go out of my way tomorrow to go watch it. It is coming out July 7th in anime form on Hulu, so be on the lookout for that. Something else I saw that looked very interesting. We have a stop motion project by the Pokemon Company called Pokemon Tales: The Misadventures of Sirfetch'd and Pichu. Yes, Sirfetch'd and Pichu series comes out in 2027. Is it a series or is it a movie? I don't know. There's not a lot of info on it, but it looks cool, and stop motion, aka practical effects, are always something really, really fun to watch. Next up, something very, very interesting. Well, at least not very, very interesting. Just caught my eye again. We got a sports anime that I did not think would exist. We got Honono Toki Yujo Dodge Danko. Honono Toki Yujo, I think it's Yujo Dodge Danko. That's right, a dodgeball anime. A dodgeball anime series. The anime series originally came out in 91. The manga had a original run from 89 to 95. So this has that gritty, grainy 90s filter on it, the original series. Now, there is a reboot to the series coming out next month. Next month is just a hot, the summertime, man. I forget how much anime since like 2021, 2022. So much anime comes out in the summertime, bro. Spring and summer, so much anime. Oh man. So Dodge Danko might get added to the list. I don't want to swamp it, but with the already growing list that I keep adding series to and have no plans on watching or finishing, but we'll add it up there. We'll definitely add it up there. Next up, some tokusatsu news. I saw a clip earlier today, and it I don't want to say reignite because the fire isn't burning for me anymore with tokusatsu. Not to say I've outgrown it, but the series don't hit the way that they used to. I haven't taken the time to fully watch the previous series prior to the Neo Heisei. I'll even say Neo Heisei era. So Decade up to ZO. That was like the 2010s of the Heisei era. So with that being said, I've also lost the light for Super Sentai, to which that is now on hiatus. Super Sentai is now on hiatus, something that's been going on longer than One Piece. Seasons every year, different themes, different suits, different actors, different Megazords. The source material, right? They cut it off. They're giving it a break. And what was replaced with it was Project R.E.D. R.E.D. being an acronym for Records of Extraordinary Dimensions. Project R.E.D., from the looks of it, is going to be focusing on just revamping Metal Heroes, and Metal Heroes being, in America, it would be VR Troopers and Beetleborgs. Yes, those Beetleborgs that were in the Forever Red Power Rangers Wild Force episode. So, Project R.E.D., which I thought was just going to be Metal Heroes, they started with a new Space Sheriff Gavin series, which Gavin had a reemergence in like 2011, 2012 when Decade was a thing. They did a few collabs with the Dino franchise of Kamen Rider, but yeah, they replaced it, and it looks completely brand new. There's nothing familiar, so I feel like I'm going into it as just a whole new series as a whole. Like I don't want to compare it to the other Metal Heroes franchises because it looks that different. Like it looks like the other tokusatsu Asian media, which which I think tokusatsu specifically in Japan, but there are other Metal Heroes, Big Bad Beetleborgs, VR Troopers, Power Rangers, Kamen Rider like shows in other Asian countries that look just as good. To be honest, they look just as good. Just as good. And so first it was like Super Space Sheriff Gavin that came out this year. Now part 2 to this rollout were Project Red, to which it feels like it's just going to be just multiple shows, like I mentioned before. Like it's just going to be multiple transforming young courageous main characters just having their own series, not directly connected with each other, but they're probably going to be connected with each other in some type of way. The new one being Kakusei Hunter Omega Horn. Now, if you Google this, it will kind of give you Spectros vibes. Now, I never played Spectros, but it was a game I definitely wanted to play for the Nintendo DS. But yes, it looks like Spectros meets Pokemon Rangers. So you have a henshin transforming main character now capturing and taming giant kaiju monsters. Now, the clip I seen earlier of the creator, I forgot his name, mentioning this, comparing it to Pokemon meets Digimon. Now, I'm interested in seeing it because they're not CGIing the giant monsters, or at least they're using practical costumes, and then they're adding like a layer to the CGI just to get that feel to it, again, which Super Sentai is not shy to at all, to combine the two formats. But yes, this one looks interesting. The main character looks like he's holding a gun, but it is a megaphone. That's right, it is a megaphone, which I'm assuming it is to capture these monsters. I believe there are 4 or 5 other supporting cast members. Hopefully they all have transformation forms, and maybe at some point we'll get a giant mech battle, kind of like how Lost Galaxy / Gingaman, Super Sentai Gingaman, is, where they have the Galactic Beasts, the protectors of the planet in the forest. They look like giant monsters, something out of Godzilla, if Godzilla had a color coordinated team of Kaiju, and they transform into their mechanized forms, so they kind of just armor up. But yeah, Project Red, Kakusei Hunter Omega Horn. And folks, that is it for today's update, which your host of the podcast, still known as Negro Jump. That's it for today's update. That's all I've seen so far. Tomorrow I will be gonna go see Bleach 1000-Year Blood War, Core 4 Calamity, in theaters. It is an hour and a half runtime. Apparently that is enough time to end it, to end the 1000-Year Blood War, which is super epic. I highly recommend you read it. Bleach is better read than watched, I will say that. But yeah, I'm pretty pumped. I haven't been excited to go to the movies in pretty long time, and I want to say the last like 3 or 4 movies I watched were exclusively anime. So Scary Movie's out right now. I Love Boosters is out right now. He-Man Masters of the Universe is out right now. I'm pretty sure it's another movie I want to see that's out right now, but they aren't a priority like anime has been, and that's been really interesting to take note of myself. The more I'm like, I can't just watch anime all day. That's the main thing that really gets me excited. So yeah, that's it, folks. Follow us on all the things. Subscribe. Well, not all the things. Twitter and Instagram. They could stay updated, and that'll be sporadically, but keep those notifications on for new episodes weekly. That is right, weekly. You will hear new episodes weekly until I say stop. Okay, that's enough for me. Y'all have a great rest of your day.